Time now for another vlog. And one thing you're going to notice going forward is the quality of the B-roll of the vlogs improved, because I was recording it a different way, and to be honest, after the fact, once I uploaded it to the vlogs channel, I wasn't happy with the video. So the way I'm going to do it now is better quality. So at the very least, the B-roll will look better. Like, how many of you actually just watch the B-roll whenever I'm doing these? Or do you just, like, listen to it like a podcast? Let me know in the comments section. And thank you so much to everybody that has been watching my vlogs. 2020's been, at the very least, good for my vlog series going forward, because I kind of rebranded it. A soft reboot, if you will. And thank you so much to all 260 subscribers of the vlogs channel. And you can always go back and check out previous vlogs over on the vlogs playlist. So hopefully the B-roll quality does look better. There may be occasional like tear issues here and there. Hopefully that won't be too bad, but it does happen with the way that I record. See, I guess a little inside baseball is that the way I was recording was directly through OBS. But this way I'm using Elgato, which is my game capture. So I'm just recording only with the Elgato game capture with my Blue Yeti microphone and the PS4. Well, PS4 Pro, GTA Online. So hopefully it looks better and hopefully it sounds okay. And let us get into this, shall we? What all transpired in July 2020? Was it a better year? No. This year still sucks. July 2020, unfortunately, was another bad month. The 7th bad month from 7 straight 2020, as this year continues to go further and further downhill. I don't think the last few months of the year is going to turn this one around. Maybe. Probably not. In America, we had Independence Day. Of course, a few days prior, Canada Day. So happy Canada Day. Well, late Canada Day to all my friends in Canada. On July 4th, we had Independence Day in America. And it was one of the weirdest Independence Days in my lifetime. For one thing, because of the bug, there wasn't as many gatherings. The fear of catching the bug. And we'll talk more about that later, the bug itself. But there's a lot of anti-Americanism going on right now in my country. And I think it's just a very, very loud, vocal minority screaming on Twitter. You know, the SJWs, woke brigades, commies, whatever you wish to call them, were just outright full-fledged assault on America. And it really does kind of bum me out a little. And you could say it was personally the last straw I had, because I am an American, and I'm not one of these Americans that look at my history with rose-colored glasses. I do understand, and I am fully aware of the bad things that have happened in American history. I think we've talked about some of those things in previous vlogs. But the ideas of America, freedom, liberty, justice, equality, and opportunity, and the fact that this is a melting pot from the fact that people from all over the world have come to America over the past few generations in order to seek out a better life for themselves and their families and future generations. So I think that some of these groups out there are being extremely negative when it comes to America, while at the same time ignoring the atrocities and horrific crimes that are happening in other nations throughout the world that are far worse than America. And I don't think I need to mention those countries. But America has its flaws. There's room for improvement. There always is. It's always, I guess, an aspiration to become as free as possible, to make it to where everybody has liberty and freedom and justice and equality. And I think we've come a long way since the founding of my country. But I'm sick and tired of the hate. I'm sick and tired of fellow so-called Americans bashing my country, burning our flag. And I know this is going to be kind of a cliche saying. If they don't like it here, then go somewhere else. Go to communist China. Go to North Korea. Go to Saudi Arabia. If you don't like it here, move. Leave. I mean, the flaws in my country are worth improving upon. And I'm not ignoring the past. I think it's important as somebody who's into history to always bring up American history and world history. It doesn't matter if it's America. There's almost every country in the world has had its share of good things and bad things. And obviously stuff that's happened in our history that we're not proud of, but we hope to learn from. But anyway, so what started off as peaceful protests because of the death of George Floyd, and I believe that most people believe that what happened to George Floyd was wrong. He was murdered by a police officer. The police officer and fellow cops that allowed George Floyd's murder to occur were arrested. And see, that's justice there. They're not getting away with the murder of George Floyd. They will go to trial. And the one that's specifically responsible for his murder is probably going to spend a few years to the rest of their life in jail. And the other cops that were there that just stood by while George Floyd died, they're going to be punished too. They lost their jobs. I think they're all in jail right now. So at first, the peaceful protests were great. It was bringing people together. But unfortunately, along the way, the protests were taken over by Antifa, which apparently is a myth to a certain troll in Congress. He looks like a fucking troll. And to others. But no, I assure you, it's very real. Antifa, commies, whatever. I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of the cancel culture. I'm sick and tired of all that nonsense. Them threatening to cancel everybody that disagrees with them, calling everybody that disagrees an ist or a phobe. Eventually, most people just get tired of it. A lot of us just want to get along. We want to coexist. We want to just live and let live. But the peaceful protests, unfortunately, have been co-opted, taken over by, I guess you could call them the far left, progressives, commies, whatever. And it has led to a lot of rioting in various cities across the U.S. I mean, peaceful protesting. Very peaceful. Of course, that's what the corporate news media and Democrats would have us believe. Look, before I come across as a conservative talking head, I'm not. I don't like the Democrats or the Republicans. And I'm not trying to make this vlog sound political, but I'm going to go over a variety of things as I do every freaking month. But yeah, I'm sick and tired of the media looking the other way. I'm sick and tired of the Democrats looking the other way and calling these riots, looting and destruction of businesses and federal buildings peaceful protesting. It's not peaceful. It's rioting. They're vandals. They should be held responsible. I'm all about peaceful protesting. Even if what you're out there protesting is something I disagree with, as long as you're peaceful about it, more power to you. It's protected under the First Amendment. The right to peacefully assemble. When you're rioting, when you're looting, when you're doing all that sort of thing, that's not peaceful. And I hope that more and more people are waking up to the reality that what was peaceful protests for police reform and equality has devolved into something else entirely. Unfortunately, it's been taken over. It's been co-opted by these far left groups, Antifa, commies, Marxists, whatever. I'm fed up. And once again, I'm not trying to make myself out to be anything other than a human being. And most of the time, my thoughts are in the middle. You know, I'm a moderate. I have libertarian thoughts. I have liberal thoughts. I have conservative thoughts. I'm a hodgepodge of thoughts. Before you accuse me of being a Yahtzee, I'm not. I believe that we're all human beings. We all deserve the right to be here, to coexist. But I'm sick and tired of the nonsense that's been allowed to transpire in various cities throughout my country. because it doesn't accomplish anything. All it's doing is spreading fear and terror. And for the past month or so, the elected officials of the cities and states where a lot of this is happening, they happen to be Democrat. I'm just pointing that out. And like I mentioned already, the majority of Republicans and Democrats are scum. They should be kicked out of office. But unfortunately, most of the time, incumbents get reelected over and over again. Because we have this two-party mentality in my country, and you have to be on Team R or Team D instead of voting for people. And most of these people aren't really people anymore. They're scumbags. And they don't care about the truth. They care about agenda. And they'll cheer on their team no matter what. Their team could be doing the worst things in the world, and they'll still cheer them on. Case in point, Republicans in the 2000s, when it came to the war on terror, the so-called justification for the invasion of Iraq. Look how well that went out. And now with what the Democrats are doing by looking the other way when these riotings are occurring in cities throughout the country. And I think according to Tim Pool, at least 30 people have died throughout these riots. And that's what I'm calling them. I'm calling them riots. They're not protests. They're not peaceful. I don't care what the media says. All you got to do is go look online. There's video out there. There's proof that contradicts the narrative. And I hope that most people are starting to see through the bullshit. I feel like, at the very least, thanks to the power of the internet and alternative journalists and real reporters that are actually out there looking for the truth, exposing the BS, and showing it for your eyes, whether it's on Twitter or on YouTube. I mean, I'm fed up with it. I'm absolutely fed up with it. And I'm not a fan of Trump either. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I didn't vote for Hillary because I didn't like either one of them. And I have no intention of voting for Biden, and that's another example where you see the Democrats lying. There's obviously something wrong with that guy, and I know I've mentioned that before. Maybe some of you are tired of hearing me say that. But he's clearly, I don't think he should be qualified to be president. I think that he probably needs to be under some sort of care. Because I don't think he's there anymore. I mean, some people would make the argument that he was never truly there. But, I'm just saying, he's in his upper 70s. He's obviously suffering from something. If you watch his, so-called Zooms, you watch his very limited and controlled press conferences, there are issues that come out. So, if he actually ends up being the actual Democrat nominee in a few weeks from now at the Democrat National Convention, which is going to be all virtual and online, then that's going to be very concerning, because the truth is you're not really going to be voting for Biden. You're going to be voting for whoever his VP is, and we're going to find out, I think, in a few days who the vice presidential candidate for Biden is. But as of right now, I hate to say it, I just can't bring myself to vote on Election Day. I'm not going to vote for Biden. I'm not going to vote for Trump, and I'm sick and tired of most Republicans and Democrats, but lately I'm getting more and more sick and tired of Democrats. I just wish that we could just wipe the slate clean and start over and just get fresh people in office, local level, state level, federal level in my country. And I know a lot of this sounds like it should belong on Burns Report, but the truth is I'm taking a break from Burns Report, and that's why I posted over on the Burns Report Facebook page, FYI, because at the moment I'm extremely burnt out with politics. I mean, I may start back up in a week or so, and maybe you're getting a small taste of the direction I might be going with that channel. But I just wish people could just find a way to sit down, meet at the middle, and come up with solutions. Because I think that if people actually sat down, actually had a conversation, as I've talked about before, besides social worrying and keyboarding across the internets through Twitter and whatnot, and actually treat each other like human beings, you could actually try to find some sort of middle ground, but that's not happening. But the problem is, I feel like conservatives and some liberals and moderates and libertarians, to more or less degree, could sit down and come up with some sort of compromise, maybe. At least something, some solutions. But when it comes to commies, you can't reason with them. Because if they get in charge, we've seen through history what happens when commies take over. The Soviet Union, Communist China, North Korea, the list goes on and on. So, no, I don't want the commies in charge. I don't. Anyway, so if I end up bringing back Burns Report again, yeah. I guess now you can imagine the videos going forward over on that channel. But at the same time, I just don't know. I really don't know. And I don't even know if my voice over there is making a difference at all. I really don't know. I mean, lately I've just been trying to focus on other things right now in my own life and not dwell too much on things I have no control over. Yeah, it's important to vent and exercise your frustration and freedom of speech while we still have it. Because, you know, if commies take over, unfortunately, we won't have it anymore. That's the sad reality. Like, even people that are liberal, if those scumbags take over, guess what? Eventually, they're going to take away your right to speak too. It's happened before. And if you're not careful, it'll happen again. So, I don't like the direction the country is going. It's every season, every year, every election cycle, it feels like it's more divided than ever. And I believe it's reached its most extreme case of division. And I'm hoping that there's more than enough Americans out there that are getting fed up with this BS. I hope so, at least. Because I for one, am. So let's move on to some other things. Sports. Let's talk about sports, shall we? So, sport leagues have returned. The bread and circus is coming back. We got, well, I guess kind of sort of sports-ish seasons. We have the NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida at Disney World. That's happening. The NHL, the hockey league, is they kind of have their own bubble league happening. Not as many games as in a standard season because of the bug. Same thing's happening with, well, Major League Baseball is a little bit different. They're not doing a quote-unquote bubble. Maybe they should because, what was it, the Marlins that had several of their players test positive. So that's kind of made things a little difficult for the quote-unquote season for the MLB. So maybe they should have done the bubbles as well. I don't know. So, yay, sports are back in America. Kind of, sort of. I've stopped caring about sports, to be honest. I used to like watching sports. I used to be really big into like watching like American football, like the New Orleans Saints or the Houston Texans, or like college football, like the LSU Tigers or the University of Texas Longhorns. But the truth is, I just don't care for sports anymore as much as I used to. I mean, baseball, I guess I like the Mets because I always liked underdogs. And when I went out to New York for a week to visit some of my aunts, I became a Mets fan because I never liked the Yankees, and I got me a New York Mets hat. And I think that was during the Subway Series many years ago. I was a kid back then, so I became a Mets fan. But care anymore. It's still entertainment, and I think the problem is people take sports too seriously, and it's meant for entertainment purposes only. It's not the end of the world if your team wins or loses. You should just enjoy watching. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, soccer, or football, or hockey, or badminton, volleyball, golf, or esports, or chess, or checkers, or the spelling bee. Whatever you enjoy watching, you do you. Now, speaking of American football, the Washington Redskins, that name is over. It's done. And it's interesting because I personally have been in favor of them changing their name for quite a while now. And I know my friend and others always make the argument, yeah, well, if you change this name, where does it end? I understand that, but I feel like the name Redskins is kind of offensive. Now, you might find some Native American tribes or Native Americans that like the name or don't care. I'm reminded of an episode of Quantum Leap where there was a Native American character who loved the Redskins, especially every time they beat the Cowboys in a football game. But ever since the 1970s, and I researched this, there have been Native Americans and Native American tribes petitioning the Washington Redskins to change their name. And I think that this should have been done years ago. And it's only because you had corporations like FedEx, Nike, threatening to pull their sponsorship, their ad money away from the Washington team when the owner, Dan Snyder, finally decided to officially retire the name Redskins. He could have done it years ago for a good PR move, but he chose not to. Now, realize that there are hardcore Redskin fans that don't like it. You have a right to your opinion. I happen to have a friend of mine, one of my mentors in radio. Unfortunately, he passed away years ago, and he was African American, and he was a huge Redskins fan. He loved the Redskins. And he had a friend of his that was a 49ers fan, and they would constantly go back and forth, Redskins versus 49ers. But he was a huge Redskins fan. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I feel like the time for a change has come. And I don't know what name they're going to go with. Some people have floated around the idea of Red Tails, and I like that because I'm a history buff. I'm all about World War II history. My grandfather actually was a flyboy in World War II, a second lieutenant. And Red Tails pays homage to the Tuskegee Airmen, African-American squadron of Army Airmen. And they should be honored. And I think that's a good name. I think that's a fantastic idea for a name. The Red Tails, or some people have suggested the Red Wolves. I like wolves, so I'm okay with that too. I don't like the name Warriors. That's such a boring name. The Warriors. So they decided that they were going to keep the colors of the Washington team. So the colors are staying the same. But right now, they're calling themselves the Washington football team. Oops. Because they can't come up with a name right now. I mean, for one thing, I guess, okay, I understand. You don't want to rush through the name. I get it. Especially if you're going to go with a crappy, boring name like the Warriors. I'd rather them take their time and come up with a cool name, you know? And maybe Red Tails will be that name. Or Red Wolves, or something else entirely. But a lot of people have been kind of making fun of the name Washington football team. And some people have been making jokes about, well, let's just go ahead and just rename all the teams. And I actually had a silly idea, and I presented it to my friend to like create a Teespring or a Cafe Press with like the colors of every team. And, I don't think it could be trademarked or copyrighted. But the idea would be like you would like have like Washington football team. Then you would have Dallas football team. Then you'd have Seattle football team. And Houston football team, and New Orleans football team, and Denver football team, and Miami football team, and you get the idea. So you just imagine like people just like wearing these shirts, like "Go team! My team's better than your team. My team rocks. Your team sucks." Anyways, so that's sports. Yay. Moving on to other news. Oh, before we go, I'm definitely going to be buying me a Washington football team t-shirt for memes. I don't know. I think it'd be funny to have a Washington football team t-shirt. So you'll probably see that in the future in live streams. I don't know why. I like to do silly shit like that. I don't know. But coming up at the recording of this video, when it's officially posted on Friday, July 31st, 2020, Umbrella Academy 2. Netflix. Hell yes. I'm excited. Actually, from the trailer, I'm kind of worried that it's going to be like a sophomore slump second season. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I absolutely loved the first season. In fact, a friend of mine and I, we rewatched the first season of Umbrella Academy a few weeks ago, and it definitely is still good. I still enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to the direction that Umbrella Academy Season 2 goes. I'm also worried about it. And I guess we'll see how well it goes whenever it comes out. And I'll probably just binge it like 2 episodes a night and not rush through it. That would be a bad idea. So, yeah, Umbrella Academy Season 2 is upon us. And a month from now we get Season 2 of The Boys. Hell yeah! I also love the first season of The Boys. You know what? Before the Season 2 of The Boys comes out, I'm definitely going to binge through Season 1 again. Because 2 good shows right there. So that's what I'm looking forward to show-wise. So let's move over to dim video games. So last weekend, I finished up my Ghost of Tsushima live stream. And though there were salty times in my stream through it, I was terrible at dueling. Of course, whenever have I ever been any good at 1v1, right? But despite the salt, I absolutely loved Ghost of Tsushima. And I would say that that was actually, believe it or not, a highlight of July 2020. And I believe that Ghost of Tsushima deserves to be, at the very least, a nominee for Game of the Year. I loved that game. In fact, I'm still playing it. And most of the time, believe it or not, I'm not really a trophy achiever or trophy hunter. I'm not really into the whole 100%, as some people are. Or was it Achievement Hunter? I think that's what it's called. I think there's a YouTuber called that. But anyways, you get what I'm talking about. But I have been doing almost everything in Ghost of Tsushima post main story. Because I had a lot of side quests and character quests that I had yet to wrap up in the Fox Dens, shrines, etc. And I have knocked out almost everything. I have yet to get all the Mongol artifacts. I'll try to get those. I don't know if I'm going to. But that game is amazing. And Sucker Punch did such a great job with that game. And recently they released a patch for a new lethal mode. Now, I played the game start to finish on medium. My friend Azulin, who's been streaming it, she was playing it on medium, but she's way better at video games than I am. She switched to hard the other night, and she's still kicking ass at it, and she's loving it. And so I'm glad that she's really enjoying Ghost of Tsushima. But, yeah, I really hope that they add more to the game. I want a Game Plus. That's one of the things a lot of fans of Ghost of Tsushima have been wanting. A Game Plus for Ghost of Tsushima, and I would definitely do that. And I think that if I ever get a PS5, I probably will eventually get a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. Not on launch day, but I really would like to restream Ghost of Tsushima on PS5. And maybe I would try it on hard, or if by that time there's a Game Plus or before Game Plus, maybe I'll restream it if I'm bored. And I think when I restream it, I'll do it in with the American voice, well, the English voice actors. The first playthrough, I did it with the Japanese voice actors and English subtitles, and I feel like that's the right way to do it. I liked it personally, but I've been watching Azulin play through it. She's been doing it with English voice actors, and the voice actors are good. I think they're great, English and Japanese. But the second time I stream through it, I will do it on English. Might as well, because I feel like there may have been some things I missed whenever I was playing through start to finish with the Japanese voice actors, because it's all subtitles. You have to read through it. But at the same time, I still enjoyed it. And as somebody who had some knowledge of like Japanese history, as well as the Samurai Code, I was very impressed with how well they handled that period in Japan, as well as what it meant to be a samurai, honor, a warrior's death, and without spoiling Ghost of Tsushima and the conflicts that arise, I love the characters. I think I'm going to be doing a review of Ghost of Tsushima on the gaming channel. I'll try to have that out probably this weekend or Monday for anyone interested. But like if you're into open world games and you love sword fighting games, or where you could be like a samurai or a ninja or assassin, it's a great game. I absolutely love playing it. And the only downside I would say about it is the fact that you have to have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro in order to play it. It's one of those exclusive games, and I'm not really a fan of exclusive games for the most part. I would prefer a video game be available across as many platforms as possible. I get it. I understand why it's that way. But I really do feel bad for Xbox players and PC players that don't have a PS4, because they're missing out on a great game in Ghost of Tsushima. And like I said, I definitely think it deserves to be Game of the Year. And I'll be doing a review on that. Hopefully I'll get that out by the end of the weekend or Monday. And Red Dead Online, I'll be streaming through Red Dead Online throughout the weekend. They finally dropped a new update after 7 months of waiting. The Naturalist role and I did a rant video on it. Some people didn't agree with my thoughts and my opinions. People have a right to their opinions, just like I have a right to mine. We don't have to cancel each other because you disagree with me or I disagree with you. I recognize that people liked the naturalist role. There's some things I liked about it as well. I could say that it has kind of sort of grown on me a little bit, but I still see problems with it personally. I do feel like early on in the role, it's very, what's the word? It's very slow. And because you have to grind the sedatives all the way to rank 5 before the missions unlock. And the missions are not bad. I've still been having issues with legendary animals spawning in free roam. And I feel like there's other issues popping up in the game right now. Like, a lot of us have been having difficulties with disconnects, like Thursday. While I was waiting for the Newswire video for GT Online to drop so I could record it, I hopped on to Reddit Online to do some, sedatives, sedating some animals. But I disconnected within a matter of minutes 3 times, back to back to back. It was pissing me off. And yet Rockstar claims they fixed like 250 issues in the game. But I guess once I reach rank 20, I may do a guide video for the naturalist role. I was thinking about doing a review for it, but I feel like the rant video is kind of the review itself. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I know a few people like Kane and Professional and others are going to be doing guides for it, and plenty of other Reddit Online YouTubers as well. And I may do it if I get time. Even if I personally don't like the naturalist role by the time I reach rank 20, at the very least I could offer some guidance, some tips to help people maybe get through it with perhaps a less painful experience than I have. I am excited, though, for the leaked Halloween Pass content that came out. So that means that after Outlaw Pass 3 is over, we're going to be getting a Halloween Pass, our Outlaw Pass 4. Hopefully we'll have more than just a Halloween Pass to go with Halloween season. Hopefully some other good stuff. Other goodies, other tricks and treats. I would love that. And, oh yeah, speaking of GTA, if you happen to be driving around in GTA, might as well talk about GTA, right? Yeah, it looks like we're getting an update for GTA Online. Not officially confirmed yet. Well, actually, it was kind of sort of confirmed last week. Because they said that, we obviously got an update to Reddit Online Tuesday. And they said coming soon, there's also an update coming to GTA Online. And there's bigger updates coming for both games later on in the year. Probably around December, I speculate. But looks like August 11th could very well be the next update to GTA Online. Looking forward to it. Don't expect it to be a big update, but maybe there'll be some really interesting, awesome content added to the game. I hope so, at least. Riley wants a jet. Maybe she'll get a jet. At least one fighter jet, Rockstar. Come on. Hook up the pilots in the game. I know they're not... They're kind of a niche crowd, like the bikers, like the lowriders. But the pilots deserve some love, too. Give them a fighter jet. Give them like the equivalent of an F-14 or an F-22 or an F-35. Like a Vito version of the F-35. Like, that'd be kind of sweet. And make it to where it actually can go up against the broomstick and destroy it once and for all. That would be nice as well. Maybe the broomstick will finally be nerfed. But there's a rumor that we're getting a new location. The rumor is not really it's kind of a rumor, yet it's kind of not a rumor. Because Rockstar mentioned in last week's Newswire, which I did record a video about, that, we're getting a new location in what's going to be the biggest update to GT Online yet. And I feel like it'll probably, once again, be around December, most likely. Maybe sooner if we're lucky. And the rumor from a so-called reputable source, take it with a grain of salt or grain of pixel, is that possibly, just possibly, it's going to be Liberty City. That could be BS, but we have heard stories over the years that Rockstar has been working on a HD version of Liberty City, which would mesh, which would basically be on the same engine and look the same quality as Southern San Andreas map, which is GT Online's map. I know the game is nearly 7 years old, so that probably wouldn't be too difficult to enhance Liberty City from, 2008 version to a more up-to-date version. So that would be awesome, because that's one thing a lot of us GTA Online fans have been wanting, is an expansion, another place to go. And hopefully, if it's true, hopefully we'll have properties in Liberty City we can buy. And hopefully we can have the job creator where we can make races, captures, death matches, survivals in Liberty City. I don't know if we're going to have any like businesses in Liberty City, but maybe at the very least garages and apartments and homes. That'd be awesome. Now, the part that makes me wonder if this is actually true or BS was the rumor. I didn't make a video about it because I unless it's like confirmed, I really hesitate to make a video about these sorts of things, with a few exceptions. But the voice actor, Hollick, who voiced Nico, the protagonist from Grand Theft Auto 4, is supposed to be in Liberty City for Grand Theft Auto Online. And maybe some of the other characters from Grand Theft Auto 4 as well, like Rome. And we've already had a few characters carry over from GTA 4 to GTA Online, like Malk, Packy. Let's see, who else is... Oh, yeah, Gay Tony. He's here, too, in Los Santos, where he's hanging out in his nightclub. And Laszlo. Laszlo's been around forever. You know, the real-life Laszlo, as well as his fictional character, right, from Grand Theft Auto 3 all the way to Grand Theft Auto Online. So I would love to go back to Liberty City and GTA Online. I think a lot of people would as well. It would definitely add new life to the game. But the part about Nico coming back and the voice actor, I don't know, because he had a falling out with Rockstar. Just like the voice actor for CJ for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Also, over a few months ago, he had a falling out with Rockstar. And Rockstar's not exactly the forgiving type. So maybe behind the scenes, Hollick and Rockstar met up for lunch and patched things up. Maybe. I don't know. I would like for that rumor to be true, okay? I would, because that's one of the things I think that GTA Online needs, is an expansion. They need a new location. I mean, I love this city. I love this map, but it's long in the tooth. It's still fun to play from time to time. But it would refresh in the game if we had somewhere else to go, like an updated version of Liberty City. And there's still that rumor that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to take place in Vice City. I think that makes sense because a lot of people have been wanting the series to go back to Vice City. And obviously Rockstar likes to use Roman numerals for their games like GTA 3, GTA 4, GTA 5. And what letters make up GTA 6? VI. VICE, Vice City. It makes sense. But unfortunately, it's very possible that the December update, the biggest update to current gen for GTA Online, for PS4, Xbox One, could very well be the last current gen update. Now, PC also gets updated, but I think they'll survive. So, going into 2021, Grand Theft Auto 5's extended, enhanced, milked edition arrive on next gen, I think about a year from now, or less, PS5, Xbox Series X. Hopefully it will also include, if this is true, Liberty City. You know what would be really cool? If they actually made, combined Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 story, where you could play Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5, up-to-date graphics on next gen. That would probably make Grand Theft Auto 5 enhanced and expanded, milked edition worth it, in my opinion. It's been forever since I actually replayed Grand Theft Auto 4. So that's cool. I like it. But it doesn't mean if it's going to be real or not. It doesn't mean it's going to be true. Maybe total BS and pipes, dreams, hopes, and ice creams. I'm being charged out the wazoo right now. Thanks, Rockstar. Very cool. I should do a rant about that. Oh, I did a few years ago. And it's been a while since I did a rant video. Last rant video I did was back in March. So it's been a while since I climbed up to Mount Soapbox. And I did it a few days ago. Some people didn't really like that climb up Mount Soapbox. But I feel like most people, if you go by the like to dislike ratio, I got way more likes than dislikes, but I got more dislikes than usual. It doesn't really bother me. People have a right to voice their opinion. If they don't like something I post content-wise or live stream-wise, then that's their right to be anonymous and leave a dislike. It's totally cool. And I don't claim to always be right. At the end of the day, it's just my opinion about things. I try to think things through and sometimes emotion takes over, and maybe the emotion gets better of my opinions instead of sitting back and thinking things through a little bit. Maybe I go in a little bit more emotional, and sometimes maybe I turn out to be wrong. I don't claim to always be right. Yeah, I like to think that I have a good, I guess, rating, a good batting average when it comes from being right to wrong. I like to believe that I've been humbled and have gained some wisdom over the years. But nobody's perfect, and I'm far from perfect. And, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you make a video and it's not well received and it's your opinion. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to agree with your opinion. Like some of you may have disagreed with my opinions earlier in this vlog. Does it mean I deserve to be canceled? No. Because it's my opinion. And I don't expect any of you to ever agree with me 100% on anything. And it's something I keep talking about in live streams, right? Is that, and I think I've mentioned it before in a vlog, right? If I was to put out GB's 10 hot takes about something, my 10 opinions about this, and I were to list them, chances are most of you would disagree with at least one thing. At least one thing you would disagree with me on. And that's fine. Some of you probably 2 or 3 things. Maybe some of you would disagree with me on 9 things and only agree with me on 1 thing. But that's fine too. We all have a right to our views and opinions. As long as you're not threatening somebody, as long as you're not saying, you're canceled, or you're an ist, or you're a phobe, even if the person's not, or you're threatening to send somebody away to a gulag or purge them from existence because you don't like their opinion. See, that's my problem. That's where I feel like the line is crossed. So before we wrap up, bug news. I promised bug news at the beginning. Yes, the bug is still happening worldwide. In some places, it's receding. There's plateauing. Infections, sicknesses, deaths are going down. Apparently in America, some states are doing better. Some states are doing worse. Some cities are doing better. Some cities are doing worse. In a lot of cities, including mine, in a lot of states, including mine, there's now mandatory mask laws where if you go into a business, yeah, you have to wear a mask. Now, some people don't like it. Me personally, I'm okay with wearing a mask. I don't have an issue with it. The truth is, I'm all about Halloween, as some of you may know, and I kind of like wearing a mask. I don't know why. It's like Bane, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask. So, I need to wash my mask. It's starting to smell a little. It's one of those rewashable masks you can rewash. It's a decent quality mask. I spared no expense. But yeah, it is a tragedy that so many people have died worldwide, and I think China should be held responsible for this. I do, I really do, and hopefully, when the dust settles, the world will hold them responsible for the atrocities of allowing the bug to spread, with what's done with the Uyghurs, with what's done with the people of of Hong Kong. They do have some influence over the people of North Korea because North Korea is kind of a puppet state of China. But unfortunately, China just has their tentacles in almost anything from Hollywood to other places as well. And I think a lot of political movements in my country that are causing issue probably are getting some money, some yuan from China. That's just my theory. But yeah, the bug has been devastating worldwide. People getting sick, people dying. And also businesses closing, small businesses, big businesses, people being furloughed, losing their jobs, unemployment's going through the roof. And it's horrific. It's sad because I think if we're not in a recession, we're probably heading to a depression. So I fear that 2020 is not going to get any better. I would like for 2020 to turn around, but we have a presidential election coming up, so yeah, things will most likely be getting worse. The conventions are next month. I'm sure I'll talk about that in a month from now. My thoughts about the Republican convention, the Democrat convention, whoever ends up being the nominees, whether it's Trump, Biden, or 2 other clowns. Maybe 2 more reasonable clowns. I don't know. And that's another thing. If you want to vote for Biden, that's fine. Just realize you're not really voting for Biden. You're voting for whoever his VP is. And if you're voting for Trump, okay, that's fine. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. You can vote for Trump if you want. I don't always disagree with him. And that's one thing that annoys me, is that, he can be his own worst enemy on Twitter. He is he's not exactly what I would call a statesman. He's not very diplomatic. He can be a little aggressive, and a lot of times I feel like the reaction he gets is from his own actions, but it does feel like a lot of times that he could come out and he could say, hey, I just noticed that the sky is blue, and then people would rip on him for it. I just feel like it's okay every now and then to agree with Trump. It's not the end of the world. You still don't have to like him. You still can think he's not a good president, but sometimes, as they say, a broken clock can be right twice a day. The same can go for Trump. But it seems like anytime he has an opinion or thought, people have to go out of their way to disagree with him every single time on every single thing. And a lot of times, if there was a D by the dude's name, or if it was Hillary, with that same hot take or opinion, you would probably see people saying something a little bit different. Yeah. But it is sad that the bug is continuing to wreak havoc on 2020. The deaths, the people sick, the lives changed forever. The businesses, restaurant just recently closed here, another restaurant. And I feel bad for the owners. I feel bad for the employees. I feel bad for the community that enjoyed eating there. And there have been a lot of casualties along the way. It's so sad. And like I said, I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better. I hope that we get through this. I hope we survive. I hope things don't get worse. I fear things could end up spiraling further out of control. There's been talk of things escalating because there has been some degree of violence from the rioting. People have been killed. And people are concerned about a potential civil war in my country. There's also potential worries of a global war between the West and China. That too is concerning. I don't want to see war happen on either fronts, but both cases, with everything going on in the world in 2020, it's a very scary possibility, and I hope not. I sincerely hope not. And I didn't even talk about the consulate nonsense in Houston. Of course, China spying on us. China stealing from us. What else is new? I'm shocked. So before we wrap up, some personal things I guess I'll talk about real quick. I have decided to cut back on fried food and pasta. I love pasta. But I'm going to cut back on pasta. Well, maybe like rice noodles. I think rice noodles would be okay because I love me some pho every now and then. I love pho. Like a friend of mine turned me on to pho like a few months ago. It's freaking awesome. So I'll probably keep eating pho because it's good for you. But like typical pasta, like spaghetti and whatnot. Yeah, I'm cutting back on that as much as I love spaghetti and Italian pasta. And I do like me some fried chicken every now and then. I just got to cut it out of my diet. It's not good for me. I'm desperately trying to lose weight. A struggle is real. A lot of it's because of my liver. As some of you know, I have a fatty liver condition. It was hereditary. My mom had it. And unfortunately, her liver failed when she was 25 and she died. And I was only like just under 2 years old at the time. But I have it. If I ever have a kid, fortunately, it's only passed from mother to child. So it can't be passed from me to my kids if I ever have a kid. That's probably never going to happen, by the way. But the problem with it is that my liver doesn't process things as well, like alcohol. Like the average liver processes alcohol a lot better, even though alcohol is still bad for your liver. That's a big reason why I don't drink alcohol. But some of the other stuff I try to stay away from as well without making a long list of things. And because of my liver's condition, it's harder for me to lose weight. So I work out. I try to work out 2 or 3 days a week. I need to do better at cardio because I spend a lot of time sitting on my butt, whether it's playing video games or watching a show on the couch or a movie or watching somebody stream or working on content or live streaming. Hey, I'm sitting on my butt right now doing this vlog. So yeah, cardio is always being something I need to push myself to do more of. Because I feel like I got the working out part going good. Like the upper body, the lower body. I've been doing that for coming up on, I think, nearly 4 years. Late September? Nearly 4 years. So I'm proud of myself for that. I have a great trainer. And I just got to push myself to do more cardio. I seriously do. But, yeah. And my sisters want me to go on a beach trip in a month from now, like the first week of September in Texas on the coast. I may go. We'll see. But it's hard to get away though because I got responsibilities here. I do have a friend living with me right now because he's currently unemployed. Times are tough, so he's crashing in my guest room. So he could watch the place if I go visit my sisters and their husbands and my new nephew and their dogs while we're all on the beach together for like a week. We rent a beach house, go chill. I could get away, but then I also feel an obligation to other responsibilities as well. You know, not to mention the fact that I do kind of sort of like making content on a regular basis on the gaming channel and live streaming. So I'd have to plan ahead over there and try to make sure I at least have content for the days I'm gone and hope to hell that nothing big drops during that week while I'm on the beach with my sisters and my brothers-in-laws, my bills as I call them, and my new nephew and my sister's doggos. Yeah, so do I go to the beach or do I not go to the beach? That is the question. It's been a while since I actually really went anywhere. Maybe I should take a trip somewhere. I know things are bad right now. The bugs everywhere. The risk of things getting worse. Rioting, breaking across the country. Potential civil war. And all that crap. But maybe, just maybe, I should consider taking a few days off in a month from now. Especially since, Mafia Definitive Edition is coming September 25th. So I might as well enjoy a few days off. And hopefully I'll have a month to come up with some content ideas, some videos to put on my gaming channel while I'm away. To vacation or not to vacation, that is the question. But I think it's important to get away every now and then. If I do go to the beach, maybe I'll get me a GoPro camera. Maybe I'll make some videos and maybe some additional vlog content. Maybe. We'll see. But the next vlog will be a month from now, August 2020. How will August 2020 go? Will it go better? Will it go worse? Each month that comes by in this year, it just makes me dread the next month. It really does. I'm beyond ready for 2020 to be over with and 2021 to get here. It doesn't mean 2021 will be any better, but we can always hope, right? But I mean, at least with July 2020, Ghost of Tsushima was awesome. And hopefully Season 2 of Umbrella Academy will be good. And Reddit Online got an update. Yay. And, GTA Online has an update coming in a few weeks from now. And like I mentioned, Mafia Definitive Edition coming September 25th. So there are a few things to look forward to, and possibly a beach trip for me and my sisters and their husbands and their doggos and my new nephew. Anyways, if there's anything about July 2020 that you thought was good, feel free and leave it below in the comments section.